Howdy friends, it's Kathy from Rust Paper Scissors. I've had some technical difficulties today. This is like the third time I've tried to make this video. My voice sounds really bad. I have a cold. I did test negative for COVID and the flu, so that was good news. But I'll try to not sound too bad. I wanted to do a flip through of my latest journal. I call it a Shabby Chic Vintage or Victorian Lady Handbook Journal. Oh my goodness, that's a mouthful. It is basically in the style that I normally do. Normally my journals are a blank canvas for you to take and really make your own, and this journal is basically the same way. All the ephemera that I have put in there is removable, and you could make the journal kind of what you want. There are some things that you would have to change, but it basically can be made your own. And the shabby chic style is a little different than what I normally do. I'm normally a very rust and grungy type journaler, and so this is a little bit different. And I wanted you to know it is a repurposed book. I believe it was a Reader's Digest book. The book was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I just repurposed the book. It's probably from the 1950s, but like I say, it's just a more modern book, but I used it. I don't know if y'all feel this way, but I feel like journals sometimes kind of take on their own style, I guess is the word I'm looking for. This one, like I said, I envisioned a Victorian lady's handbook, but I really didn't know what that was. And it ended up being a very floral journal. A lot of the ephemera is floral based, and the front obviously is very floral. But let's talk about the book. It is 7.5 by 5.5. I covered it with some sticky backed velvet, and then I added a little lace from my wedding dress, and the back is just very plain. It has a big gator mouth here, about 5 inches. I did add some, I call it junk journal jewelry, some crystals, and then the front is, the reason I call it shabby chic was I went to an estate sale last April, and I got a lot of these vintage chandelier crystals, and I always wanted to put one on a book. I thought it would be pretty, and I just never could kind of figure out how to do it. But on this book, I think I was able to be successful. The sticky back velvet is covered with some, I believe this was a vintage curtain. It's tulle, and then it's got some embroidery and some flowers, and so I added that over the velvet, and then I added this different lace from my wedding dress, and then around the crystal I added just some rhinestones. My daughter helped me decide to do this. She felt like it really helped the crystal stand out and to pop. And then at the top I just added a book plate. I was having trouble securing the tulle to the book cover without, the glue showing, so I glued this down. If you didn't like the word journal, you could add a different book plate on there, but the journal is connected, but you could still add another word on top of it. And I used my signature closure, which is the rusted bulldog clips with a chain, and it just makes it so easy to take off and remove. So let's go inside and we'll see what we got. I covered the inside cover with some beige sticky backed velvet. I added a library card and holder. This is a doily that I crocheted. And then on this, it has two signatures, I'm sorry. And the signatures, they're basically the same. The pages are the same. It's just the ephemera is different. I usually make the cover of the signature out of a file folder, and that's what I did with this one. This one I covered the file folder with some lace, and then I added, again, some more lace from my wedding dress. And then this was some corrugated cardboard. I added some cheesecloth and a picture. And then I had seen several videos, YouTube videos, and one I saw, I believe it was by Rose Paper Cottage. She was doing a tutorial where she took photographs and she covered them with tulle and made tags out of them, and I really liked that, so that's what I tried to recreate here. And I added some tulle to the front of this photograph. It just kind of softens it, and then I added some rhinestones. I did have a question for y'all. I would appreciate it if you would let me know your thoughts. Does anybody struggle with using a picture of somebody you don't know who it is, or it's not a relative or something? I've stated in the past that I am not a journaler, so I do not journal, but I always wondered, would I mind if I had somebody else's picture in there that I didn't know who it was? So I see in all the other journals people have these pictures, so I added them, but I was wondering if anybody else struggles with that. And just leave me a comment. I'll be interested to know. And then I added, this is a ribbon crimp, and I added a little rhinestone. And then, like I said, ribbon crimps are an easy way to add jewelry to a page in your journals. I love it. I use it all the time. And so I did that. And then on the inside of the signature, it's just a piece of velvet, and then I crocheted a tuck spot, and then this is just a little tag that I made. It's using a book page from the book, and it's just a little tuck spot and a blank tag, so I have that there. One of the other things, I've been watching a great deal of videos, and you know, it kind of all runs together excuse me, after a while. And so I had seen a video where somebody had used clear or matte shipping labels, the full sheet, and printed like digital fussy cuts to make stickers. And so I did that, and I'll show you through the journal things that I did. But I liked it. I could not find the matte, so I used the clear. And using the clear, I did take some vintage photo, and I did go over the top of the image just to kind of, so it wouldn't be bright or shiny. I really liked using this. I'd like to find those videos and maybe perfect, you know, the technique. It is kind of expensive. These pages aren't cheap, so, but it's a resource you might use. I talk about that to talk about, I added this glassine envelope here, and what I did, I added it with some, a shipping label that I had printed the roses on. It's a wallpaper, it was like a wallpaper border, and I used it like washi tape, and I secured the envelope on this side, and then I also secured it on this side, if you can see that. So that was another idea for you. And then inside the envelope was just a couple of tags, a digital print, and then a postcard, and they're just blank. So I had that. And then, like I say, the floral aspect, really took off in this journal. I'm not a real girly girl, so a lot of frilly things I usually don't have in my journals. So the florals was different. In thinking about a Victorian ladies' handbook, I thought, oh, handkerchiefs were very popular back in that day. At that estate sale that I went to, I was able to acquire several vintage handkerchiefs, some napkins, some doilies, and so I wanted to use one here. So what I did was I ironed it into this shape, and then I added a stick pin to kind of hold it into place, and then it's held in here with a mini bulldog clip. I sell these in my shop, and I just added some rhinestones on there. But it's just a little handkerchief. You could leave it here, or you could use it in another area in the journal, or you could just use it for some other project. But I had that. And then I did not mention, but the pages in here are stained with walnut ink crystals. It's a pH negative product that I really like. Instead of using like the tea or coffee, it doesn't harm the pages, or if you added photographs, it would be pH neutral. So I really like it's called walnut ink crystals. And so this is just a page of manuscript paper. This is from the 1960s. When I was a little girl, I took piano lessons, and this was from a manuscript book that I had. And then this was a dictionary, a music dictionary book that I had. So it's from the 1960s, and I just added that. This music paper is from 1935. It's pretty sturdy, but a little fragile. I did fold it up and make a tuck spot. When I do that, I normally, on the inside of this upper edge, I try to reinforce that. Sometimes I'll add lace, or I'll add double fold bias tape or something. On this journal, I added, it's that cloth paper tape that you can get like at the pharmacy. And in fact, I also put it down, if I have fragile papers, I put it down the spine of the book just to reinforce it. So I did that, and then I added these a couple of these tags. This was just a little tag, a digital that I printed and made a little tuck spot, has some lace on it. This is a piece of this notebook paper, music paper that I folded into an envelope, and it could be an envelope. And then this was a digital that I really loved. This digital, the lovebirds, and I put the sticky back velvet onto just a tag, and then I added the digital and made a tuck spot. And so that's that. And then this is just some notebook paper. I added some lace, and then this is a little jewelry pin. I rust those and sell them in my shop. This is a metal rim tag that I added an ampersand stamp to. And then this is just some modern ledger paper. On this is a fold out. And on this I added, it's kind of like a fabric swatch. It's just several different pieces of fabric. Some of them I had used in the journal and just wanted to add it. I attached it with, again, a rusted ribbon crimp that I added the rhinestones to. Excuse me. This is an example of the label page that I printed. It was a kit from Graphics Fairy called Forget Me Not, the little bluebirds. So I cut that out, and then I added just my own little label there that says Memories. And then I had added some lace to the side. This was another tuck spot, and I just have this in there with a rusted paper clip. I saw the Bohemian Crafter believe is her name. She had made a foldout using an envelope and made it look like tickets. And I used her idea and made this foldout for my journal. But it's just some of that old 1950s ledger paper, a little metal rim tag that says the details, and then it folds out, and it's just 3 tags, and I left them blank for you to, make your story. I added some wallpaper pieces, and then just a digital piece here at the end, and a great place for you to journal and add to your story, and so I have that there. Like I say, it's just held with a rusty paper clip. And then this is just a digital that I printed and added with a paper clip on some craft paper. This was an altered guest check. I put some sticky back velvet on the back, and then I just added a little Tim Holtz paper doll, I believe is where I got that. This is just ledger paper from the 1950s. I added some vintage eyelet trim, just again to strengthen that page as you pull it out. This is a page from a shorthand book. This was my mom's shorthand book from probably the 1940s. I added just a little vintage digital print, and then I use these as paper clips. They're alligator clips that I rust, and I sell them plain or with pearl, flatback pearl, or a rhinestone. And what I like about them is they're so easy to use, and you just clip them on there, and then when the book's closed, you can sometimes see the embellishment when the book's closed, so I like that. The center of the signature is an old envelope. This is from a bank in Texas. I believe these are from like the 30s or 40s. These envelopes were used to contain safe deposit box information, and so I just kind of left them in their natural state. This is a tag that I made, the Follies Brasure, Lona Barrison. I believe I got this from the Graphics Berry, I'm not sure. I just attached it to some, cardstock, and then the sticky back velvet. I put some, I love this stuff, it's called ribbon twist paper. It can be a little fiddly to work with. You have to untwist the paper, but it adds a lot of dimension without adding a lot of bulk. So I really like to use it. I sell the green and the tan, and I have a funny story. Several years ago, I was helping in Vacation Bible School, and we needed this ribbon twist paper, so I bought it, and I did not realize what I was buying, and I bought a lifetime supply. So I have a lifetime supply of the brown and green, so I sell brown and green in my shop. And then this is the back of the envelope. Again, I just left it blank if you wanted to journal on it, or blank place to put a picture. Some more of the shorthand book, the ledger paper. This is graph paper that I walnut stained, and it turned a beautiful color. All the lines kind of faded away, but it's a pretty color. This is a print. I printed it on vellum. It was a certificate of marriage. This reminded me of the type of certificates and records you would find in an old Bible. A lot of times they were printed on onion skin or special papers. So that just reminded me of that, and I added it here. This is again an example of putting some lace here to strengthen this, along with the tape on the back. I added the lace on this page. This is another one of those fussy cut. This was from G. Kerr, fussy cut sticker that I made, and then I had this tag. I don't know how long I've had it. I don't know when I made it. I don't remember even having a stamp that was like a measuring tape, so I don't know how I got this. So, but I added it in here. And then this is just the back of the ledger paper. I added a little digital as a tuck spot, again to strengthen that. This is just the notebook paper. The other side of the music paper with 2 mini little postcards. And I added some lace there. And then the music dictionary paper, the manuscript paper. And this is an example of one of the doilies that I got from that estate sale. And one of my signature items in junk journals is I normally add extra sheets of paper that you can journal on, and I attach them with the rusted metal prong fasteners, so that's what I did here. And then that's the first signature. And then this is the second signature, and I covered it with the lace like the first one. And then on this one I used the green ribbon twist paper, and then this was just a digital print that I thought went really well with that. And so here's the second signature. Again, a lot of the pages are the same. This is the cover. I have a tuck spot here. This is just a large journaling card. It says Atlas of New York from 1868. This is again an example of using that shipping label, the clear, and I just printed a wallpaper border and added it here. The beauty of the using it on the tracing paper is, I don't know if you can see in this light because I've kind of lost my good light. You can see the other side of that. It shows through. This is the manuscript paper, the dictionary paper. Here's our music paper. This one is just some of that eyelet trim that I had, vintage. This is a little book that I made. It's just blank pages with the metal prong fastener. And then this is just notebook paper. This is the ledger paper, and I added a tag with sticky backed velvet and then a digital print just to kind of strengthen that page. I did watch a video from by Heather at Ruby and Pearl XO, and she had made several of these book pages and manuscript pages and just all sorts of vintage papers and wallpaper, and so that's what I tried to create here. I followed her design. I'll link it below, and then I just added a tag that again is the same wallpaper, and this is the first chapter from the book Pride and Prejudice. And then this was just some beautiful lace that I added to the dictionary page, and I really liked that as a tuck spot. I thought it was very pretty, so I liked that a lot. And then since I made that tag, I thought, well, I did that with old book paper, I could do it with the dictionary paper. So on this page, I added just the wallpaper and then the ribbon twist paper onto the little tuck spot. And my tuck spots, I didn't mention, I don't glue them on the outside. That's in case if you had a piece of ephemera that was a little bit bulky and you wanted to add it, you would have some room to do that. If you don't like that, just glue it shut, and you know, it'd be easy fix. This is some of that same wallpaper. This is, I believe, a page from the book, and it's just blank on the back. This is the multimedia paper. This is that graph paper. This was the example of the first sticker that I added to this journal. That was the shipping label, and again, this was one that I went over with Distress Vintage Photo and added here, and I really liked it. But the bonus that I found, and I talked about it a minute ago, was that you can really see it from the other side, so I really like that. And then this is just, again, the shorthand paper, a little digital. This is the center of the signature with the envelope. And then on this one I made 2 little tags, just a little tag that says cologne, dewdrop cologne. And then this again is one of those wallpaper tags from Heather and Heather Ruby and Pearl XO. And so it goes in there. And then this is just the rest of the pages. Again, this was a stamp from the G. Kerr Fussy Cuts. And if you can see, you can see some of the writing through the sticker, and so you have to really, it's kind of a learning curve on how you use those stickers because you are going to see through them. Then this is just 3 little tags that I added. This is a library card that I put the sticky back to velvet to. You can tell I like that stuff. I use it all the time. And then I just let that stick out off the side. And then this is the other dictionary page with the tuck spot and just a blank spot. This is the ledger paper, and again I added a digital that I've just folded over and to strengthen the edge. Our notebook paper. And this is just a piano composition piece, I guess the cover, a tag, and then this is just some velvet that I put on some teeth-stained cardstock. And then again, here's the other pages. This is an example of that shipping label. On this one, I did not realize that the background was gray until I stuck it down onto this tracing paper. So I wasn't really crazy about that, but I didn't peel it off or tear it out. But it's not bad, but if you could always cover that up. But on the other side, you can hardly see it because this tracing paper was so crinkled that you can't really see it, so it didn't bother me as bad. Then this is another doily in the pages, and then this is just the back of the signature. On this one, I covered the back of the signature with some washi tape. I have, this metal prong fastener that I rusted. Well, sometimes when you have fabric, the rust comes off the piece of metal that you've got. So it was doing that just a little bit. I had added some clear nail polish, but it didn't seem to work, so I covered it with the washi tape, and it doesn't leave a residue. And so that's the journal. And then along with the journal, I have a companion, what I call a kojo, a companion journal. And this one I kind of made a French theme to it. But you could, if you took this nameplate out and turned it over, it just says journal. But I like the look of this, the black and the rhinestones and the Paris. I just think that looks good. So I made it a kind of a Paris theme. And then I like to use these D-ring fasteners. I rust them, and they're a really easy way to clasp something together. And then on the inside, it's just a little notebook with about 10 pages, and then a crocheted corner spot. These are just some little French tags that I included. I love this picture of the dress form all frilly. And then this is the Eiffel Tower. And then this is just some blank digitals that I didn't use, but I had. And then this is a stamp that I just made a tag out of. I love that image, and wanted to include that. This was a piece of glassine that I covered with gesso, and then I stamped on it, and I've had it for a while, so I just added it. And then this was a book plate that I guess you could, if you wanted to use it at the front of the book, you could. The nice thing about the metal prong fasteners are that you can add or take away pages from this if you didn't like some of the paper, if you made a mistake or something. There's just different ways to use that. So I had that. And then along with the journal, I wanted to include some papers. This is a couple of pages from the book Pride and Prejudice. This is a page of that 1935 music paper. This is a piece of the 1950s ledger paper. And then this is just a couple of pages of dictionary pages. Now, I wanted to include those in case you wanted to make your own collage, and on some of those tags that I have in there that are blank. So that is the book. It will be for sale in my Etsy shop, which is Rust Paper Scissors. I would appreciate your comments on the questions that I ask, and I do read the comments, and I am I'm always encouraged by them, and I really try to learn from what you say. I appreciate your time, and thank you very much.